What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Cruising with Greg. Today I'm going to show you how to clean your mass airflow sensor, this little sensor right here, and I'm going to talk about what it is and why it's important not to forget about it and why it's important to keep it clean. So your mass airflow sensor, or your MAF sensor, measures the amount of air that's being brought into the engine, so your engine computer knows how much fuel to mix with that air to give the proper, most efficient fuel-to-air mixture to get you that best miles per gallon, the best acceleration. So looking at our engine bay here, our mass airflow sensor sits right here, and air is going to enter the system through this tube here and pass through the engine intake filter. Then it's going to flow past that mass airflow sensor and flow through to the intake manifold into our engine. So a few symptoms of a dirty mass airflow sensor could be anything from hesitation while you're driving, poor miles per gallon, low power when you're trying to accelerate, you're going to get a rough idle, and it can even cause your check engine light to come on. And the ways it gets dirty is if your air filter is dirty and hasn't been changed, some of those contaminants can get through, or just over time buildup occurs on the little sensors here, and it can cause you to get that bad reading and cause some of these sensors to occur. So let's go ahead and get our cleaner and go ahead and get that sensor removed and go ahead and start cleaning it. Alright, so the first step is to go ahead and disconnect the harness on the back of the mass airflow sensor. It can be pretty difficult to remove if you haven't done it in a while, so just be patient. You may need a screwdriver to help push it off or pry it off, but be patient, be careful. Next thing is go ahead and take a Phillips head screwdriver and remove these two screws, one on the top left, one on the bottom right. Those screws hold the sensor to the actual intake tube, and once you get those removed, you can go ahead and gently remove the sensor from the tube and set it down to get ready to go ahead and clean. The cleaner I always use is the CRC mass airflow sensor cleaner. There's other ones out there, but I see this one used the most. It's super easy to find. You can find it in really any auto parts store. Alright, so the most important thing when you're cleaning this sensor is only use the spray. Don't use any kind of brush or towel, or don't even touch it in any way. Just spray the cleaner on the sensor, let it dry off on its own. So you would go ahead and take your cleaner, spray it on about 10 to 15 times in little bursts right on the sensors, and you should be able to actually see the buildup and see where it gets removed when you spray it on there. And you can also there's an intake air temperature sensor just right next to the mass airflow sensor. You can also give a few sprays to that as well. You can use that same cleaner, but just follow the same guidelines. Don't touch it or anything, or use any kind of brush on it. Alright, so once you get it nice and clean, go ahead and let it sit out and dry for about 10 minutes. You want all of that spray to evaporate. Be patient, don't rush it, don't rush to put it back in, just let it dry out. And while you're waiting, don't do anything like turn the radio on, don't turn the key in the ignition, because the check engine light will come on after you start it back up. Our reinstall is going to be the same way as how you removed it. Go ahead and put those two screws back in and then reconnect the harness, and you are good to go. Alright, now that we have our sensor nice and clean, we let it dry off for 10 minutes. We'll go ahead and start the engine up and make sure we have no check engine lights. Alright, everything looks good. So since this job is so easy and it doesn't cost much to do, I like to do mine about every oil change, every about 7,500 miles. It keeps it nice and fresh. It keeps that buildup off of it. Doesn't let anything build up and get, make it harder to get off next time. It's just super easy to do, so I highly recommend doing it. Thanks for watching, guys. Make sure to like and subscribe for more videos.